everybody. Live again today, as I promised I would be every day from yesterday, Monday, till Thursday, in preparation for this workshop I'm doing, which is a very low cost, very accessible to anyone today in the current world crisis situation. I've made it really accessible. A workshop on tapping into and developing your intuitive superpower. And so every day I'm offering a tip, because there are 4 cues to identifying intuitive guidance and differentiating it from irregular thought. Any thought that you have, a rational thought, a logical thought, a fearful thought. Intuitive guidance and intuitive thought has a different characteristics, and there are 4 of them, and they're in my book. And so I'm giving one every day, and then on Friday I'm going to give you the experience of tapping into your intuitive superpower and asking for guidance on a specific challenge or focus that you would like to get clarity on today. So that's happening Friday, and there's a link below to find out more about the workshop and to register. So here we are, day 2 of the tips. And so I'll just recap what happened yesterday. I spoke about intuitive guidance occurs during expansive states of consciousness, when you feel spacious. And there are different ways to be spacious. Any hobby you have, something you love to do, connection with people, things like music, poetry, spending time in nature, living your purpose. There are many different ways that you can tap in relatively easily into a spacious, expansive state, a more enlightened version of yourself. And that's what we're going to practice on Friday. But that's when intuition happens, because what I've discovered through my doctoral research is that once you're in a more spacious, expansive state of mind and being, you become aware of information that was not available for you a second ago when you were in a more restricted place. And so we live in very challenging times. They were challenging up to the coronavirus, and now they've become super compressed and intense. And so now, even more than before, we need to stay aligned, and so that we get guidance that serves us for the better good of our life, the life of the people around us, our loved ones, and our world, whoever we touch. But what happens is that when there's a lot of fear in the air, there's legitimate concern, there's worry, financial worry, so many challenges, then we tend to go to a more constricted tunnel vision thinking and mode of being. And intuition doesn't come at those times. So whenever you feel that you have an intuitive hunch, it's because you've created some spaciousness from where you were a moment ago. And so the first cue to knowing that you're having an intuitive hunch, an inner knowing, a gut feeling, is that you're in a spacious state, life-affirming, loving, spacious state. The second cue, which is what I'm giving you today, and I'm going to read it from my book. So here's my book, Living a Spiritual Life in a Material World, 4 Keys to Fulfillment and Balance. And so that's really what we're going to practice on Friday, the 4 keys. So the second one is, such inner knowing or intuitive hunch appears in a sudden flash, like lightning. Unlike rational thought processes which occur as a result of logical, deductive thinking, intuitive guidance seems to materialize instantly out of nowhere. So the experience is, you have a challenge. Okay, it could be a work challenge, or it could be now a financial challenge, or it can be anything, any topic you want to focus. You want some insight how to just better your life, how to better your emotional well-being or your spiritual well-being, or how to connect to a person, or something that's a big challenge, improvement, and it can be actual facing. And so you get into this spacious state, and you've probably experienced this. Suddenly, you get an idea that comes as if out of nowhere. That's the cue. It comes out of nowhere, and you go like, oh, wow, I didn't think of this a moment ago. So that is a cue for you to know that you are having an intuitive guidance, a gut feeling, a hunch, inner knowing. It shows up, boom, like this out of nowhere. That's cue number 2. So cue number 1 is get into some spaciousness, however you know how, whatever makes you feel good, whatever activity is going to create some spaciousness and some calm and grounding in you. And then the second cue is suddenly information begins to appear and it shows up like a lightning, boom, out of nowhere. That is your second cue. So you can practice it, see how it works for you. And on Friday, when we have the 90-minute live virtual workshop, you'll actually have an embodied sense experience of it so that you can connect it to other times in your life when you've had this experience, or have it for the first time. But I'm sure each and every one of you has had this many times. You just never have had the language and the theory of what happens at that moment when suddenly an idea comes and it's like, wow, what a great idea. So I'll be back tomorrow with a third cue of how to identify when you're having intuitive guidance and how to develop your intuitive superpower. In the meantime, you can click in the link and check out the workshop. It's going to be 90 minutes live. I've made it super accessible. It's $14.97, and you'll have an experience of being in spaciousness and an experience of receiving guidance on a topic of your choice. So I hope you join the workshop on Friday and join me tomorrow for another cue of how to identify your intuitive hunches. And you can leave a comment below and I will comment. You can leave it whenever you want, whenever you see this live. And I send you many blessings. Stay safe, healthy, and in high spirits. Blessings. Bye.